Good day, everyone. When I walk out, I need to watch my skirts. We want to thank the Great Love Technology for making these beautiful outfits. Pass on the Dharma lineage and recruit talents. Let us study online together. Here is encourage one another to talk about Tzu Ji. Listen to the Dharma unwaveringly. Believe in our potential to keep initial aspiration and diligently move forward. No matter how small step forward is better than staying the same place. Moving forward, you will encounter good affinities. Only when you do not give up, you will reach the goal. When you laugh, then you are effective. When you are effective, then you laugh. Because affect and the laugh sound the same in Chinese. The common point for success people are they all like to read. We're very grateful for our team who make all these beautiful slides and flyers. And let's look at the good effects. And you can see on the screen, Brother Yao wrote this summary of our program. And our team also created these beautiful photos. You can see all these photos created by our team, describing the current events and the Tzu Ji volunteers' work. Also reporting the Kaohsiung online study group. Now, this is just a synopsis of the past program. Look at the beautiful souvenirs the team gave our guests and how the team worked together to create those beautiful gift bags. They were all right in front of the hall where the online book club is held. Last week, we had all these brothers and sisters to put all these gift bags together and bring them to Hualien where the flood is. Yeah, look at all these, what they did. And we were praying for the survivors of the Hualien flood. And these are the sharers of last week. They share their love to the community. And their sharing gathered people's hearts together and brought the love and affection to the survivors in Hualien. See, the flyer says, hope the people in Guangfu will recover. Also, this is a song composed by a brother to comfort the survivors. Sorry, there's no subtitle on the screen, but you can hear the song. Let's applaud to Brother Yao for creating this song with the beautiful synopsis of what we did. These are the coming events titled on October 15th, but you can hear the song. How Tzu volunteers recruit a youth for creating this song with the beautiful. And also we have Brother Huang to talk about his experience. His older sister, who's 90 plus years old. And his two sons in the U.S. are coming back to their Kaohsiung for Brother Huang's presentation next week. Wow, his two sons are willing to come all the way from the U.S. to support Brother Huang's sharing next week. And also we have these speakers next week. Oh, we have musicians. Sister Huang is teacher, teachers Huang and teacher Chen will show. They will share the music they composed. Also, we have Sister Xiuling Zhang from the U.S. will be leading the club. We also have a flyer about Tzu University Graduate School is recruiting invitations, applications from the master's program. Yeah, we also want to thank the team members in the Tzu University Graduate School. If you watch the Dai TV every day, you will create good thoughts every day. Here, we are going to see a synopsis of what we did to help the survivors in Guangfu, Hualien. This is what the Kaohsiung online group did. We prayed for the survivors, and we raised money and supplies to help the survivors. And also, the flyers are created, and also the towels for exercise were raised. 3,000 towels to raise money for the survivors. And also we have different vendors to donate their products here. And our culinary team also made some delicious dishes, like the wooden gear, the pressed tofu, all these to bring to Hualien, where the flood was. And people came to our stands to donate money. Look at the money they donated to bring their love, to send their love to Hualien. We want to help them, and I have most confidence in Tzu, so I'm happy to donate money to Tzu because they are helping those people who need help. So everyone is sending their blessings and their prayer to the survivors in Hualien. Also, we have the herbal company donated their herbal medicine to the survivors. Also, we had about 10 stands for raising money, selling products, raising money for the Hualien flood survivors. all those vendors or volunteers prepare very early to make sure they have wonderful products to sell in order to raise money for the flood survivors. So don't underestimate your potentials. So we gather jobs and little things together, we can gather enough to help the survivors. Yeah, people of all ages from different corners are all working together to help the survivors. We are very grateful to them. Here, the Golden Bell Award, Dai TV had very good reports. They have 3 nominated and 4 awards. The best supporting actress, the best new star. Thank you for your support. Our story is shining. The Tzu Chi humanistic culture, thanks to all supporters. We're very happy that we are nominated, and we're very happy to get 4 awards for the Golden Bell Award. We're very grateful. Last week, our Love of Needle and Thread group had raised so much money to help people. See, look at the owl that the Needle and Thread group made. In Japan, owls means blessings, you never get old, and you're wise. That's why some Japanese folks really like that. So let's just continue. Support these products from the Needle and Thread group, and we'll raise more money to help those people who need the help. Yeah, we have raised 2 million Taiwanese dollars. And look at the towel for exercise. It's very light and it's very absorbent. Look at, see, the whole cup of water can be absorbed by this towel. I brought 2 towels here to show you. Look, it's very, very good, very absorbent. It has very fine, super fine fibers. Absorb all water completely. Isn't that great? It has super absorbing ability. And also, after you wash your hair, you can dry your hair very, very quickly with these towels. So we're very grateful for having these towels to help us raise money for the survivors of the flood. Yeah. Well, this brother gave us 500 towels, and if we can sell each one 200 Taiwanese dollars, then we will raise 100,000 Taiwanese dollars. This designer is a designer for fashion design who designed this towel. So if you look at the towel you have, it's very new. It's made of new technology. It's very light, very thin. It's very easy to carry around. Only 10 days, we have got 500,000 dollars, Taiwanese dollars. But our goal is 1 million Taiwanese dollars. Do you think we can reach the goal? Yes. Our online study group can reach it. So please help us with the goal. From our previous experience, we know that if we all cooperate, we will be able to reach our goal. Many people who saw the towel today say, oh, they are very beautiful. So please order and we can bring it to you. 2 Jing's aphorism: with love in our heart as a positive influence on others. A broad heart and tolerance are the fountain of happiness. Yeah. Okay, now let's look at Master's ideal talents. They are modest and not arrogant, pure with self-respect, cultivation, and virtue. Always love selflessly and treat everyone equally. Open-minded and control temper. Work hard and harmoniously with others. Show good etiquette in speeches and actions. They focus on principles and not trifles. Once we have this, may everyone be ideal talent in Master's eyes. Let's put our palms on our chest and say, Master, be relieved. I am your ideal disciple. Let's look at Master's response. Master said, you are great. Thumbs up. So please thank your neighbor and say, thank you for studying with me. And Master says, if you have the Dharma in mind, Master wants us to promote multi-languages. So if everyone can help interpreting having this, today we have the English interpretation team here from the US. We want to thank Jack, Liang, and the Japanese team. These folks, please applaud to the Japanese interpretation team here. We also have 2 new interpreters. Because we make these slides once a year, I'm just adding some new ones here. This is our Cantonese team. Please thank them. And the Malay team right here. Thank you. Here, we have 3 sisters who do not understand Chinese at all, so they have to listen the English interpretation and then transfer to Malay. This is our Hakka team. We want to thank them for their interpretation. After the program, our speakers will go upstairs to meet our interpretation team. These are the reports of our program on April 16th. They appreciate the warm gathering, and everyone is a wonderful book, a book worth learning, reading, and learn from. And the sister is very happy to be a team member. of the Kaohsiung online study group. And they were so happy to be on site, to feel the warmth, the passion, the enthusiasm there. Very incredible. And that day they saw the real Tzu Chi volunteer who's portrayed in the drama. Very exciting. And also the doctors sharing let us learn more about how to take good care of our health. So if we work together as a team, then we can work better. And this is our needle and thread team from Thailand. New members joining the needle and thread team. And so some couples work together. And here we have needle and thread team members from other areas than Thailand. See, they have gathered 1,076,000 Taiwanese dollars. So the little by little power is incredible. Yeah, these are all the Jingsi efforts that encourage us to move forward. Find a group of people who can encourage us to move forward. So now we're going to look at the positive feedback and the fact from last week. We have 119 messages from all over the world, and thank you all for giving us encouragement. We thank folks from US, Canada, Malaysia, Japan, and China, and Taiwan. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for giving us the feedback. Please keep your feedback coming. You can leave your messages and comments on our English or Chinese, any channel, any YouTube channel. Thank you.
But also enables them to learn more skills to support themselves. 他讲到的其实就是我们慈济国际长曾慈慧，他就讲到狮子山，他就觉得上人很。
Yeah, we thank Sister Effie for giving us so many positive feedbacks.
区的在地的乡亲们，他们能够有自立的一个能量。然后自己也能够照顾自己哈，所以非常感恩嘉玲以及我们雪龙的玉梅哈。那同时也谢谢你看今天。
So positive feedback and effect are always welcome. And we want to thank these sisters who not only giving us these feedbacks, but also they are here on site to support us. And we also want to thank Sister Ran Si for drawing the cartoons to show us, to report. Now we're going to do the call out for the immediate blessings. Today we have Dr. Deng from Singapore. He's also an English interpreter for our Kaohsiung online team. Let's watch some film first about Dr. Deng. You can see Dr. Deng came to Cambodia to do the free clinic. Dr. Deng also brought volunteers from Singapore to Cambodia. 46 of them went to Cambodia to help. Also, totally, there were 105 volunteers helping with the free clinic. Oh yeah, recently we had a TIMA annual meeting. They always meet around the Mid-Autumn Festival. And see, Dr. Deng and his folks received the award from the TIMA annual conference. Yeah, actually, this is the Kindness Hospital recommended us. They nominated us to receive the award. In Singapore and Malaysia, you can see how they are related to Sri Lanka. They went to Sri Lanka to help folks there and provide a free clinic there. Wow, look at the residents. They came 2 hours before the free clinic started because they have waited for 6 years. And Dr. Deng and his folks are very happy to come here to help these people. Many people registered. So they have to bring a lot of materials, equipment from Singapore to Sri Lanka. Oh, because of the COVID. That's why they had to wait for 6 years before the medical team could go there to help. And we're very glad that Dr. Deng is one of our English interpreters, so he's one of our team members. Now this is when the Kaohsiung study group reported to Master, and Dr. Deng shared his experience with Master and the folks on site. Yeah, these two sisters, teacher Meiyun already said, they had to translate to Malay from English. This is how we started the English interpretation. Teacher Meiyun did not know that they didn't read or understand Mandarin. That's why she realized later that she has to give them the English files whenever possible. Okay, let's welcome Dr. Deng. From inspiration to action, it only takes 1 minute. I love to be with you because you have positive energy. Hi, Dr. Deng. Thank you, Teacher Meiyun, Master, Venerable, Masters of the Jinsebo, and fellow practitioners all over the world. Good day. Can you open your screen, Dr. Deng? It's a very touching story. So Dr. Deng is trying to.
看到简报吗？
没有没有，但是我跟你讲哦，我们这里帮你播放，但是你要告诉我们下一章好不好？您直接讲就好了。我们现在看不到你的简报。
也可以。
好，那您直接讲好了。
Okay, so the Kaohsiung team is going to play his PPT.
我就不 share 了哦。
好，你就直接，你不 share，你直接讲，直接讲。
Okay, so Dr. Deng is going to start.
导播，简报的画面先出去。好，哎，他找到了哎，但是你找到了，哎，但是没有你的画面并，哎，对，全荧幕 OK 了。你100分了，给他掌声一下呀！成功了，成功了。
Okay.
好，那你自己操作。
Okay, now Dr. Deng is able to show his screen.
感恩。
Okay, and he can run his own slide.
大家分享的节目是从
Thank you.
感动到行动只需1分钟。那么在这1分钟里面，我真的
Yeah, I'm going to share with you from inspiration to action. It only takes 1 minute. even though you cannot do much in 1 minute, but I'm going to share with you my experience.
我和慈济的缘是什么呢？其实和慈济的缘呢，是远在
My affinity with 慈济it started in 2004 at the farewell ceremony for my classmate, Dr. Lin Shengyao. In a heavy rain and with a single gesture, I was welcomed into Ciji. When destiny strikes, its power is unstoppable. Since discovering Ciji, the waves of blessings have been unstoppable. This includes joining the English translation team for the Kaohsiung online book club. And you look at Ciji's uniforms, look very dignified. And that's why, with just a hand gesture, I'm called to Ciji. The Dharma power is unresistible. So from no infinity, so I learned to give without asking anything in return. So every month we go to the senior home to provide free clinic, and also great love has no separation of religions. After so many free clinics, I learned many folks from Ciji, and they really give selflessly. And from these free clinics, I had good affinities to meet many people. So the Master taught us life is impermanent. We cannot be arrogant. We need to be modest. I want to share the blessing field of the online book club. In 2020, I started joining the English translation team. This is our team member. These are our team members. Last year, December 18th, I translated a 1-hour sharing by volunteers from Turkey. They were from the Mannerheim school run by the Ciji and dedicated to educate Syrian refugee children. When translating, I was deeply moved. The volunteers shared the hardships of fleeing war and how to overcome them to help refugee children. Yeah, they were from well-to-do families, but they had to flee to Turkey. Families are broken, and they had to run away from the war and death. Lots of horror stories. They were not. They are professionals, but because of the language barrier, they couldn't find jobs. Life is full of challenges. So some people started making handcrafts and to make money, and some are just trying to find odd jobs here and there. So you can imagine if you were in their shoes, what would you think? They started helping with the Manahai school run by Ciji. dedicated to educate Syrian refugee children.
就能够很胜任做这里马纳海学校的教师。可是除了教书之外，他们逐渐
Oh yeah, so they are teachers for the school. In addition to teaching in the school, they also started being 慈济 volunteers.
并且探望了许多需要帮助的家庭。其实
They visited many families who need help.
一种荣幸，也是
While translating, I was deeply moved.
他认为能够
The volunteers shared the hardships of fleeing war and how to overcome them to help these refugee children.
每次在台湾
They think charity service is an honor. It's a great recognition, and they are very happy to help the 慈济 charity or disaster relief work. Within 10 minutes, tears streamed down my cheeks, and my voice began to choke when I translated for them. I was very impressed with how many children they were able to help. I struggled to continue translating, but my performance was poor. Our master often taught us to appreciate our blessings, cherish them, and create more blessings. I began to reflect on my own blessings and to imagine how I would feel if I had to leave my home, like them. Then tears welled up again, and I sobbed uncontrollably. The Turkish volunteers must have felt the same. This 1-hour translation was the most challenging one in my years of translation. However, I also deeply appreciated the importance of compassion and empathy. Emotion or rationality, which do you choose? Who am I? I found Master's teaching. It's best to maintain a balance between rationality and emotion in daily life. In Buddhism, this translates to compassion and wisdom. Neither can be neglected. If I have to choose, I believe emotion is more important than rationality. Interpersonal bonds are the force that supports us in moving forward toward our life goals. An overly rational life with a lack of sensibility leads to a life of indifference, a lack of motivation to move forward, and you may have lost some opportunities.
过程中呢，我深深地体会到，其实慈悲和同理心的重要。
The moment I finished the translation, I felt a strong need to take action. I immediately contacted Teacher Meiyun to buy some suitable supplies from the Great Love, Gratitude, and Jingsi products. Yeah, these are the products on screen. Yeah, find these adequate products for the Turkish volunteers to bring back to Turkey or Syria. Their war was over, but the road to reconstruction was still long. I'm filled with gratitude for that action. I made a quick decision, and Sister Meiyun was lightning fast in getting and arranging all items so neatly. Seeing Turkey volunteers leave with these Tzuji's blessings, I was more convinced that when inspiration turns into action, even the smallest act of kindness can bring infinite warmth and hope. Yeah, so the Tzu Chi volunteers from Turkey felt the love and compassion of folks in Singapore and Taiwan. Yeah, even a tiny thought of kindness brought infinite warmth and hope. Yeah, you can see that in the film that's just shown earlier, how volunteers helped the survivors in Hualien, Guangfu. Yeah, so when the kind thoughts gather together, we have lots of positive impact. Master taught us, willingness begins strength. I wish to do my... So right knowledge, right belief, right action can change darkness into infinite brightness. Even though I'm a Christian, but I've never regret to be a Tzu Chi volunteer. I'm very grateful, Master, to do all these for Buddhism and for sentient beings. Master taught us willingness brings strength. I wish to do my humble part to help Turkey volunteers facing adversity bravely and feel the warmth and support from the other side of the world. This is my sharing. I want to thank Master and thank everyone. So Teacher Meiyun said, stay here. And there was a story. So we started 2020 in April, and then we tested. After 1 month of testing, we started the English interpretation team first. Yeah, you were one of the first English interpreters. We are very grateful to you, Dr. Deng. When Master asked me whether we can make it multi-language, and I said yes, but I was nervous. My team member said, did you know what you just promised, Master? The California volunteer said, wow, Teacher Meiyun, you're in trouble. But I am very glad that the California volunteers started volunteering to be English interpreters. And then we have the CEO from Singapore and the CEO from Australia, who also seconded the support. Then, so the US team expanded from one team to another. That's why in 2 months, we were able to get 5 teams for the 5 weeks of each month for English interpretation. I want to mention, Dr. Deng asked me to order all these products. You can see. I'm very grateful that the Turkey volunteers were still in Kaohsiung. That's why when Dr. Deng called me in that minute, I was able to gather all these products together. And yeah. So Teacher Meiyun just told the volunteers, you can take whatever you can bring back to Turkey. Oh. And the wife of Brother Hu Guangzhong, Sister Ruiz said, oh, these are too much. But Dr. Deng and the folks were very generous. So they were able to give all these Turkey volunteers these wonderful products. That's why whenever you have a good thought, put it into actions. So, Dr. Deng, you talk about the towels. I think we are able to gather maybe 1 million Taiwanese dollars. Anyway, we should be able to get promises for 1 million Taiwanese dollars donation for the towel. And we are very grateful to have these teams working together. Oh, here are some positive feedbacks from Canada and other parts of the world. We thank you. Thank you, sister from Jie. Okay. Let's applaud to Dr. Deng again. Thank you. You need to support our towels. And you can use the towels. And Dr. Deng already put his thumbs up. So let's thank Dr. Deng. Brother Victor.
So we have a very easy to use Jinsi product, which is very environmental protection and very easy to do cleanup work in the house. There is a series of cleaning product. There's some hand lotion. We have many new products which everybody can come and understand which one you can use. There is another technology. So we have the Sister Mingling. She started from Gusan district. Today's topic is Life Bodyguard. Let's introduce Sister Mingling. Respect to a Venerable Master, Master of Jinsi, fellow practitioner. Hello, I'm Mingling from Gusan district. Master bestowed me to Dharma named Zixi. Today's topic is Life Bodyguard. A few months ago, Mingling saw this news story that was deeply moved on April 22nd, 2025. A drug-addicted driver in Changhua struck and injured several Cambridge University students while driving the wrong way. We see many parents spending large sums of money to send their children to private or international schools, hoping their children will learn and grow in a high-quality environment. They build a protective wall around tuition fee and the socioeconomic barrier to protect their children from bullying and harm. Although parents are so attentive in their care for their children, in the real world, if the overall environment is not favorable, children may still encounter delinquent individuals after leaving school or even be harmed by criminal acts. The Master often reminds us, for individuals to be safe, they need peace in their communities, society, nation, and the world. Only when the overall environment is peaceful and harmonious can we guarantee the safety for everyone. That is why Tzu Chi actively recruit Bodhisattva, inviting kind-hearted people from all over the world to create a beautiful society. In this issue of Tzu Chi Monthly, issue 692, page 145, someone asked, does Master have bodyguard? The Master responded, the Dharma is my best bodyguard. What I need is peace in the world. The Master responds, similar words also appear in the interaction between Brother Yuan Xiaoniu and his mother. Born and raised in Northern California, Yang Kaizen, nicknamed Little Calf, has a kind nature. His mother, Meiyun, worried that Kaizen wouldn't be able to survive in today's utilitarian society. She hoped he would be tough and even socialized. She even replaced his reading material, hoping he would see the dark side of society. Understanding his mother's concern, Dr. Kaizen responded, Buddhism is the best social experience. We must have faith in the Dharma and in our Master. Before joining Tzu Chi, Brother Chen Yuan wondered how to eliminate the vast amount of evil in the world. In response to the same question, Master Chen Yuan explained that to reduce evil, one must focus on increasing good. The idea of elimination is a negative energy, while Tzu Chi and Master Chen Yan bring positive energy. So, to eliminate evil, one must actively increase good. In the tug of war between good and evil, which side will win? The side with more people will win. Therefore, we must ensure that the good side outnumbers the evil side. We can have encouraged more people to do good, the four means of attraction, making good use of generosity, loving speech, beneficial action, and the teamwork. Build strong interpersonal interrelationships. Only with a sufficient reservoir of love can one guide others. The Jinsi Life Camp is a perfect platform for guiding entrepreneurs, bring new insights to all practice. On May 6, 1995, the first Jinsi Life Camp for honorary director was held for 2 days at Jinsi Abbey. A total of 83 businessmen and their wives participated. Hao Denyao and his wife, Lin Tingyun, have hosted the camp for 5 consecutive years, bringing most social elites to know Tzu Chi. The Master also taught that entrepreneurs have a significant impact on society as a whole. If entrepreneurs can gain right knowledge, right view, and right thinking, they will definitely influence their family and in turn, their business upon their return. In this way, their entire family will be extremely happy and the society as a whole will be extremely peaceful. As Brother Houghton Yao said, many businessmen were deeply moved after participating in the camp. They have integrated Tzu Chi idea into their career and their lives, going back to society through concerned actions, demonstrating the social responsibility and compassion for entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs in Kaohsiung are prime example. Brother Bo Baofu, a fellow Jinsi Hall alumnus who is often plagued by tobacco and alcohol addiction, joined forces with the honorary director team to form the Chen Jun team. Over the past 11 years, they have trained over 100 Tzu committee members, a truly remarkable achievement. Brother Deng Guorong has become a vegetarian ambassador and has played a significant role in public outreach. He has brought Tzu to a wider audience and the public sector, injecting great strength into the cause of charity. Transforming obstacle with love, the Sandro Ming has become the Bodhisattva Ming, Wang Kunming, and the Ding Lizhen, a couple who practice Tzu have found a warm home thanks to Tzu and are diligently serving as community leader. They are united, harmonious, loving, and collaborative, leading a strong team. We see that they not only benefit themselves, but also bring happiness to their family and ultimately peace to society. Would you like to join us? From September 12th to 14th of this year, there will be Southern District Meditation Camp. We invite you to join us to become a benefactor in someone's life. The Venerable Master, with her single-minded care, protects the human world, hoping for peace and safety to all. He led us disciples in a common endeavor. Master teaches, I think we need to cultivate ourselves, but how should we cultivate? We should unite and work together to protect the human world, ensure peace and safety. Our lifespans are limited, and if our minds stray even slightly and we commit evil, we will understand the law of cause and effect. Master advises against superstition, but we must believe in cause and effect. We have cause and condition, and karma is the law of cause and effect. Condition is the center of cause and effect. So with condition, we have cause. Only with cause and condition can we unite our minds and do the same thing. Let everyone generate thought of love, increasing their blessing. As their blessings increase, disasters are reduced. They can turn evil into good and misfortune into blessing. Blessing protect us. Blessings are like a protective film, protecting flies and mosquito. We must keep our food clean and well maintained, protecting it in this way. We must not let them be infected by bad habit. So we must be diligent. Thank you, Master, for guiding us to cultivate love, accumulate goodness, and transform misfortune into a blessing. You alone cannot be left out in doing good. Everyone has this responsibility because a peaceful life is everyone's hope. Applying the Dharma to our living being brings wisdom and strength, allowing us to face affliction and ignorance with mindfulness. Therefore, Dharma is our best bodyguard. We must have faith in Dharma and in the Venerable Master. Let's work together.
哇，有没有很棒？天下第一招的来了，然后请锦淑跟美君也一起来，好不好？因为代表一下跨区的导读人哈，所以大家可以看一下哈，我们团队就是这样精益求精。其实啊，你从天下第一招。
So as you can from the film, that she's quiet but a very active sister. Because entrepreneur camp, I'm very familiar with that. It's a global team. So
兰区都是我去主持，所以我跟实业家们也结得很好的缘。可是现在我不用去哦。
So this time, Sister Xue is the MC for the international entrepreneur because she got the English language speaking capability. So I feel very happy about the MC team I'm leading. So I want to introduce Sister Jinsu, and she can guide the Dharma study from Thailand. So right now the cross-region, cross-nation guiding book study leader from is real things happen. So if we can wake up the Buddha in everybody's heart, so we will let our world to be brightful. Cultivate is not avoid the reality, but you love and action to increase the goodness. So the Buddha, the Dharma will be strongest bodyguard for us. So this sign, the other one disappeared. I got a new sign from Sister Zisang. So later on we have the activity. We'll have a dressing show later. So Sister Janet from Northern California. So the guiding volunteer is very diligent. So the interpreter for Dr. Deng is very fluently. So because I was a teacher, I know whoever cannot good at the beginning, that there will be excellent after a year. So if we are peaceful, the world is peaceful. Thanks for the sharing of Sister Mingling.
you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. 那主场这边呢，我们要进行的是大合照，同时我们要看看上个星期哈，那大家现在来的人都已经急着说，我们的那个毛巾怎么还没有到？真的还没有到。 10点半他会到请不要紧张可以请月晃帮我打电话给月晃帮老师打一通电话给财梦师兄吗？好。
So this is the verse description from last week.
我们的加拿大预言他写的什么？美国词汇国际长秦千琼玉狮子山人道联盟造福善蔓延大爱正能量宜兰秋敏正导读人间疾苦须菩萨
冈山桥头 volunteer team.
冈山桥头和气棒碧华育才
吉林长春 volunteer.
长者安心有依靠吉林长春范小金激励案家有良
So Tzu University is Pan Xin'an get awarded.
十大之光潘信安勇敢追梦勤记录屡次得奖
So he's from 吉林长春。
大陆这边轮到的是我们
这是刘春枝。
好，现场的人脱口罩，保持微笑。看这边呢，我们进行大合照。好，词汇慈济国际长秦千生根狮子山教育多元水资源大爱种子遍地莲。宜兰秋明导读片自主感恩习福园法律。
Volunteer 范小金 from 吉林长春。
慈济人吉林长春范小金。
Volunteer team from 冈山桥头。Have the new director, Mr. Pan Xin'an.
新锐导演潘信安，影像再造传播爱，心灵之光真善美，服务社会爱。
The story verse is from U.S.
华语的顺口溜，还写英文的重点摘要。我们一起来扣奥词汇国际长，大爱勤谦狮子山，10年爱的正能量，1粒米到。
Book study guide from 宜兰林秋明。Volunteer team from 冈山桥头。
珍惜人心菩萨行，冈山桥头和气在，爱在社区曾分享，常照乐。
The 吉林长春 volunteer 范小金。
三圣母爱张金美，吉林长春范小金陪伴案主4家人，从不接
新安 director。
向下来共善，信安导演纪录片传递善的影响力。结合志工与专业，慈济法门一念心，寻找自我的面目的面目。一次爱跟鼓励，给我们跨区跨国顺口溜团队一起来。顺口溜团队，你们好，赞！他们真的有看到他们真的有看到。所以这是我们跨国团队的第一个团队，就是顺口溜。那现在有加拿大，还有呢我们的大陆团队也加入大爱共善，一人一善，远离灾难。我们上个礼拜，你看，爱心10集，10个摊位，募得。
So last week we had a little a swap meet with tent booth and for fundraising for the Regatta typhoon recovery in Hualien. We also have been promoting these sports towels, which all proceeds will be donated to meet our 1 million NT goal to be donated. And the benefits of the towels will be shared with you later on during our exercises. Next, we come up to our featured speaker, who is the Senior Vice President of Tzu Chi University, Dai Changxian. And today we have the pleasure of him joining us in person. The introduction was by our team in Jiayi, and the poster design was by Taipei team. We can see that each of these regions all hold a small part in making this event spectacular. So now let's take some time to know what our Senior Vice President has accomplished. He has a lot of news, even if it's just on, more than just on the Dai TV news. A lot of it is due to collaboration with the Pingdong Technology University on the effort of long-term care. As we know that long-term care is a broad field. We need people from with different skill sets together so they can work together. And Tzu Chi has been a long-time participant in the long-term care. So we'd like to share our experiences so that many people can learn from it. At the same time, before he joined Tzu Chi, he has his conversation with Master. And as we know, even as technology continues to advance, we need to focus on our humanities. And just by focusing on technology is not enough for sustainable development. Only through improving the humanities that we can create a sustainable goal. After, we also learned that he is from Kaohsiung, which make us feel particularly familiar. He have joined many of our large-scale events, including the Buddha bathing ceremony. That was his first Buddha bathing event and witnessed the firm resolve of Tzu Chi volunteers. As we see that everyone followed together to do the same thing, he felt very impressed by the devotion. And at this moment, we can the reason why I invited him to this time is from our scholarship ceremony last year. We know that he will be here to promote admission to the Tzu Chi University. So I took this opportunity to invite him. And like I said, if as long as you take the step forward, you will be walking forward. So we have this opportunity for him joining us today. In this event, we want our students to know that as long as you work hard, you will be able to surpass yourself and build that brighter future. And today, our topic is more related to one of the academies in TCU. And this academy is in the field of green development, including carbon emissions, sustainable development. As we see that used on this chart, the administrative building uses the most amount of electricity, and we are creating a net zero academy to become the first leader training program in Eastern Taiwan. We're using school as the catalyst to nurture people in green development, leaders in green development. So now let us invite him to join us with our model. As we know, he is a former president of the Pingdong Technology University, but he's also from Kaohsiung, and I feel particularly familiar with him. I think he has a very good oral skills, and it has impressed me a lot. So I took the opportunity from the scholarship reception, and when I saw his name on it, I realized this is the chance that I've been waiting for. So as long as we're able to ask, we have him today. For our senior vice president, Tzu is a relatively new field since he just took this position last year. But his profession in management and in education will be helpful for us as we move forward. So let us listen to his sharing about sustainable development. Dear Master, dear Global Masters, and Global Tzu families, I hope you all have a great day. I'm very grateful to be able to be here at the Kaohsiung study group. Like Teacher Ming has said, I only been here for a year, a little bit more than a year. I was about to retire after my tenure, but the TCU president, Ingrid Liu, invited me to join me and to help with the administrative processes. So that brought me to TCU. In the past year, I felt like I started off as a blank piece of paper. But with this affinity, I'm able to observe many impressive feats about Tzu. In Hualien, I have a lot of opportunities to hear masters teaching and other opportunities to travel and see around Taiwan. I've been to Taichung, been to Guandu, Kaohsiung, Guting, even Thailand and Indonesia, and visit their local branches at their Jingsi halls. Every location has their unique parts, and that gave me a lot of energy. Everyone was following Master's principles, Master's guidance. And using many events to broaden the Bodhisattva path. And that was impressive to me. Today, what I would like to share with you all on the topic of sustainability. Sustainability is something that we all have heard a lot. But first, why do we need to be sustainable? As we know that our basic need is to survive. And our gene is the true owner of our life. For cells to survive, it needs to have the blueprint from our genes, and it must also have enough nutrients, enough of the elements it needed. So every life, in order to survive, must find a sustainable supply of resources. Some of the beliefs that we have learned that, following Buddhism, we're able to surpass the limits of our genes and find our self-realization, even and beyond. However, as we know that there are side effects of obtaining resources, such as anxiety and greed, and that matches with the talk about suffering in Buddhism. In the human realm, there's many ways that we try to become sustainable. And why are there so many different methods? But because there are so far no one way that fits all. They all have their limitations and their strong points. So we are on the right track, but we must know that every method, their pros and cons, their limitations, and how do we utilize different modalities to meet our needs. Let's start from the basics, from the resources that we need to survive. As we know, the human population has continued to grow we will be looking at surpassing 9 billion by 2046. How do we feed this many people? How do we feed the world? The agricultural land will not increase. There's only about 10% land that's suitable for agriculture. As we meet as the demand for food increases and when there's more mouths to feed, we must find ways to increase our food production using limited amount of land and water. So we must use technology. How do we utilize technology to feed the world? The most simple thought was, can we create, just like a small factory, we can create a small farm from flat land, field cultivation to three-dimensional vertical cultivation, agriculture. The reality is not as simple. We must look in many facets, including physics, chemistry, biology, even management. There are many developments in our technology, and they interfere with each other, interact with each other. And by utilizing these different fields, we are able to create a new smart agriculture, such as genetic engineering to create rice that's adapted to alkaline soil. We can create a perennial rice that we can harvest multiple times of the year, throughout the year, or use direct seeding to reduce waste, or even doubling our harvest on the same lot. All this is to use a genetic technology, a biotechnology to modify the strains so that we can increase our food production. And recently, we have now discovered new ways of cloning with single cells to develop into a full plant. And we're able to quickly create new species that are adapted to the environment and be more productive. Besides biotechnology, we also have to modify and innovate by including the use of AI, using big data. We can also apply the same thought to agriculture. By using these methods, we can more effectively utilize the resources, such as using less fertilizer, less water, while meeting our production goals. In reality, there are many challenges and difficulties. Using Taiwan as an example, as we know that Taiwan has many scattered small farms. A lot of the new technology, new methods, it's difficult to implement on these small farms. And Taiwan is also heavily hit by climate change. So a lot of the methods, proportions for fertilizing, for watering must be modified. And that will require utilizing big data. Now, Taiwan is a well-developed area. In other parts of the world, there are areas where farmers are lacking sufficient water or fertilizer or even electricity. So how do we make sure everybody can produce properly? One of the biggest problems we face right now is not production, but rather distribution. A lot of the countries who have overproduced are unable to ship them effectively, whereas countries that are in food shortages are unable to get them. So take disaster, for example. How will the people affected by disasters receive suitable nutrients? That is a challenge we must face. As we have learned that that growth and resource use are proportional to create more food, we need more machinery, we need more water, we need more electricity, we need more fuel. So the consumption of energy is directly proportional to the development of civilization. We all hope to live a worry-free life. That's why we need to be more cognizant of our choices. Our traditional energy sources are limited. Some of them may be depleted in a matter of centuries. And they also have drawbacks such as causing climate change, environmental impact, whether it is the nitrogen or sulfur productions, that also have negative impact on our health. So we must reduce our carbon emissions, carbon footprints, and reduce our reliance on traditional conventional fuels. Zero emission target has been something that many countries are focusing on. And we really hope that in the next decade, we're able to effectively reduce our carbon emissions. Of course, in reality, the 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 results are quite disappointing. As we see that renewable energy, the percentage of renewable energy is still quite low compared to our conventional fuel. And let's not fool ourselves into believing that renewable energy is all good. There is some drawbacks, such as they have low density of production and would use a lot of land, a lot of space. The supply can also fluctuate. And it's difficult to balance production with consumption. So that creates bottlenecks. Are these problems solvable? Of course they are, but it requires investment, requires funding. Whether it is economical to invest, that is a question that we all must answer. Every other countries wanted to reduce their carbon emissions, but we're all fighting on how and how much. Some people say that China produces the most carbon dioxide. They must reduce the most. So, of course, they must reduce, but given that they have such a big population, they also would use a bigger share of energy. What about countries such as US, who have only a third the population of China, but consumes way more energy? Or countries like India, who uh, are still under development, whereas other countries are or have been developed for the past hundreds of years. So, at, so there's no right or wrong here, and we must have. Then that's why we have multiple meetings throughout the year, and at the end, we we leave it to each other country to find their own balance. But even in a meeting like COP15 in Copenhagen, during the meeting, it has the most concentration of private jets. So many of the people attending the meetings are flying private jets, private transportation, and creating tons of greenhouse gas. So it's one thing to ask people to do, and it's another to do it yourself. As we know, reducing carbon footprint, carbon emission is something that we have all heard or talked about, but whether we're doing it or not is a different story. Right now, it is not something that technology can help solve, but rather it is dependent upon our own attitude. Fortunately, the cost of renewable energy has started to decline throughout the years, whether it is solar or wind power. It has been proven to be, it's becoming more economical than conventional coal or gas generators. But even greenhouse gas or sustainable power, or even green energy or sustainable energy must have also have stability issues. So how do we prevent that from happening? Well, the best way is to use our conventional energy productions. And one of the way is to use nuclear power, nuclear fission. Now, as we all know that nuclear power started from the development of atomic bomb. They're not particularly concerned about safety. And we have heard of many different accidents, such as the 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl, and creating radiation pollution. At the same time, there's also the problem with nuclear waste. There's two types of nuclear waste. There is high level nuclear waste and low level. Low level nuclear waste are something that we can just bury and leave because as they will decay over hundreds of years. But high level nuclear waste may take millions of years to completely decay. So as we know that when US developed the nuclear power, they have plenty of land to bury their waste. But in other countries, this is not feasible. So that will create a bottleneck in promoting nuclear power. Fortunately, there's modern development have made it much easier to implement. The third generation nuclear power plant has designed so that even during times of core meltdown, the core will not be completely destroyed. So this has been effective in promoting nuclear safety. And even the fourth generation, using fast neutrons, they were able to create energy or extract energy from nuclear waste. Of course, fourth generation nuclear plant is just started in the development. There are other obstacles they must overcome, but in the future we should have more reliable nuclear energy. Right now, we are currently in the development for fusion power. It is not something that's easily achieved. It requires high temperature, high pressure. So in order to contain all that, we must create a strong magnetic field and using material that will be able to withstand these extreme conditions. Nowadays, using intelligent manufacturing and design, we're able to create materials that can fit these needs. We hope that by 2030, we should have a positive step and maybe even become commercially viable by 2050. There's also quantum technology that are currently in development. There's a lot of calculation that's needed that current computer just does not have enough power to solve. So using quantum technology, quantum computing, and combined with AI developments, we can implement all these developments, whether in energy production, in medicine, we see a positive trend. So using all that technology, all the advances, it's making fusion a possibility. Using fusion, we can effectively reduce the production of carbon dioxide because we're able to reuse that carbon and create synthetic starch. It all sounds amazing right now. And my original thought for renewable sustainable energy is to use that as a stopgap before fusion is a truly available, we must reduce our carbon emissions, our footprints, and so we can wait for that future. Of course, dreams are still dreams. It may or may not actually happen. As the brother shared earlier, should we have sense or be sensible? As we heard that recently, due to the rising prices of gold, I would like to share with you all the story. In ancient Greece, we have an emperor called Midas, and he was pray to God for gold because he loved gold so much. He gave him a special power that anything he touched turns to gold. When he touched the table, it turns into gold. When he touches the chair, it becomes gold. He's ecstatic. He was so happy that he has a limited amount of gold. But the problem comes when he touches bread, it turns into gold. It's not edible. And when he touches his daughter at night, she turns into gold. So as we know that gold, even though valuable, cannot solve all the problems. And it faces the biggest fundamental challenge to our human race, that is greed. For many for many other animals, greed is not really a thing. As long as they're fed, they're no longer hunt or attack other animals. But humans are different. Even if we are successful, we're still constantly on the hunt to be for the next level and to acquire more. 8,000 years ago, in the Two River era in the Mesopotamia, it used to be the most fertile area in the world. There were technological development, there were a lot of agricultural productions, and people live a happy life. But with more people, they need more food and need more land to grow these food. So they must create more land by cutting down forests. And as they continue to grow and meet the food needs, they eventually faces desertification. So does technology ultimately bring us to a brighter future? Not necessarily. It still depends on what we do with it. As we talked about agriculture technology, we need a lot of funding, we need a lot of development, a lot of research. So all these big four companies in the world are constantly creating disparities and pollutions. And behind these developers, these companies, there's also commodity traders, food, and they are deeply entwined with politics, and that causes issues throughout the world. So developing technology is not always a good move, and it's fundamentally fueled by greed, and it doesn't solve our fundamental issues. As we see in this picture, a lot of them are brand name clothes, and some of them may only be worn once. Why are there so many clothes scattered around the Chilean desert? That is overproduction. And it's because all the poor countries, they're producing clothes so that they can sell them and make more money so they can live a better life. And they would sell them to more affluent countries, which would become become more wasteful because of the low production cost. So as we are in a endless pursuit for increasing our gross domestic produce, we must also ask ourselves what is the true balance? How do we be sustainable? If we want to develop agriculture, what are the impacts to our ecosystem? If we develop into cities, what are the challenges? Even though there are even though there are the Sustainable Development SDG goals, sustainable development goals, if we don't change our thoughts, change our way of thinking, there is no way we can be truly sustainable. Of course, you cannot say that humans have completely no ambition. In this experiment with rats, when we give them enough food, give them endless amount of food, the rats should reproduce unlimited. And as we know that we have a lot of mental problems because they have no challenges, no ambition in life. So same applies to human. When we have no vision, we have no desire, then what is it to be living? In many societies, they are creating a grand scheme, such as the challengers. They have flown out of the solar system. And from this picture that was sent back by the Challenger, we can see that in the vast universe, Earth is just a small blue dot. There are countless galaxies and stars in the system. So we now know how small human race is. And if we have a grand scheme, a grand vision, that may be too far for us, because before we reach that goal, we may probably end ourselves by our constant struggles. So now we must take the moment to inspect ourselves. How do we properly utilize our resources? And there are challenges. One is that one, there's difficulties, and two, it may not produce a noticeable result. As Master has always taught us, and I'm really impressed by her, is that before the concept of climate change, about sustainable development, Master has been promoting environmental protection. And truly, the real solution is to resolve or reduce our desires. And that is based on education. Our education goal is to teach humanistic values by crossing the bridge between technology and humanity. And can it save the world by itself? I doubt. But through the process, you learn to appreciate, to reduce your desire. If you become vegetarian, it's not just for your own health and reduce resources, but more importantly, it is a change in our mindset. As Master has shared with you last week, we talked about the disaster relief in Guangfu. She has urged all of us to eat more vegetarian meals. It's not just for your body, but is for the world as a whole, and to settle our minds so that we're not in a constant state of desire of acquiring resources. So how to promote Tzu Chi and spread the Tzu Chi value, that to me is the true methods to a sustainable development. As Master keeps teaching us, that she's saying that the feeling of peace is obtained after a laborious giving. We don't necessarily have to own a lot, to have gold, to have luxurious products. It is through helping others, by benefiting others, then you found that sense of peace, that sense of accomplishment. Just one person may not be able to do a whole lot. But even though if we cannot change our current situations, do not feel discouraged. As long as there's more people coming together, then we can create a force to change the world. So this is my sharing.
您可以拿着吗？这就是我们上人上的康健封面这样的一本杂志。
So this is a magazine of masters on the health magazines.
其实我真的非常
how to benefit our minds and for us to feel more fulfilled.
非常好，对不对？然后他非常体贴。我说我们有口译，如果可以提供文字的话，那更好。你知道他用什么方式吗？他全程讲一次，录影给口译。
So I have asked him to provide us a written script because we have translation team. Instead of providing a script, he has recorded a segment of his talk to give us as a practice. And after the Guangfu flooding disaster, he had asked to modify it so that he can add that in and share his thoughts. So from here, you can see that he is really focused on benefiting others. From his sharing, he can speak 30 minutes and record it to give to the translation team. So there's some of the feedbacks from our listeners.
北加州的时间也说，以前大家都是农业靠天吃饭，一旦气候变迁就很不规律，受影响。科技能改善的话，是不是有再次其他范围也会受害？这就是工业造成工业。
Thank you, Kek, for the whole translation. Now,
we are ready to translate for you.
we hear from people from around the world to comment. California too. Thank you for share us with your video for the translation. Only when people are able to transform their own mindset, that will be able to balance the world. So here, we want to share with you Sister Andy. Even she was on her trip, she is still receiving our sharing in your presentation. Sister Andy, thank you for your sharing last week. From North California, even with AI, we cannot help with the climate change. It comes back to everybody's mindset. Today we're going to have an exercise, so the students down there are very exciting. We can see our senior vice president is very well cultivated. Thank you him again with a big applause. Next one, we will have Victor and Janet.
来了，透过通关密语，现在他们在北加州一起来。我喜欢和你在一起，因为你
They are in California now. We like to be with you because you have positive energy.
Next, we come up to our features.
Let's welcome Sister Shiqing and Brother Victor.
我是姚石金，上人四法号慈亚。我是介文清，上人四法号纪勇。
Hi, everybody. I'm Sister Shiqing and Brother Victor. Look at this picture. It's a picture of an ant. What comes to your mind? On the table in Master's reception room, there's a small statue of an ant, symbolized as an ant racing against time. Let's listen to the Master's teaching. The Master's teaching is that we should be like little ants, limited in strength, but willing to give. I compare myself to the little ant. I'm doing the racing with time, just like the ant. The little ant takes one step at a time. Little by little, it will climb up to the mountain. And thank you to the Master's teaching. The little ant just compared to the Tzu Chi volunteer. And today, let us talk about the role of our group of little ants. This is the video of the medical clinic driving to perform medical clinic. They're visiting the uninsured migrant farm worker. And some of them include like homeless people or people with a limited income. If we see a free clinic as a performance, then doctors are the main instruments on the stage, and volunteers are the other instrument. Both are indispensable to make the performance complete. Some maybe say, since you're not a medical professional, what role can volunteer play in free clinics? Let us look at what responsibility volunteers take on each free clinic. First, they have to transport the necessary equipment from Tzu Chi to the clinic site. These items, whether large or small, heavy or light, such as a large compressor for dental cleaning machine, medical beds, or even small toolbox, they all must be carried onto the truck with volunteer assistance. Free clinics require a great deal of supplies and equipment, tables, chairs, medical device tents. And before and after the event, these must also be inspected and maintained. In these tents, they are individual tents. They can separate people so they don't all have to be stuck in one large room. Volunteers are also needed for cleaning and organizing the venue, both before and after the event. On the day of the clinic, when the supplies arrive, they must be immediately set up. Volunteers assemble different types of equipment, put them to the assigned places, the Western medicines, acupuncture, set up computers and audio systems. They also have to set up the TV for people who are waiting. They can also watch the Dai TV. When patients arrive, volunteers help at the registration desk. They sign people in, giving people number slip, and assist with the record keeping, documentation. Volunteers also help organize patient files. And those required by the volunteers. This is a video taken from the Mexico Free Clinic. when Mexico suffered earthquake, Tzu Chi traveled to the Mexico and offer free clinic. And we also have a student, international student from Mexico. They help us translate because they speak both English and Spanish. They're able to support us. Inside the clinic, another group of volunteers help patients fill out forms, prepare for checkup, and even measure their height and blood pressure. At the clinic, many people came. Luckily, there's a group of nursing students. They were there to volunteer. After registration, patients need to be guided to the designated consultation area. So guiding volunteer led them to different departments, preventing confusion. And the doctor also met with a Spanish-speaking patient. So we also have a Spanish-speaking volunteer. They're invited to translate. They're very happy to volunteer, especially the doctor. They've been invited many times, and they're willing to continue to serve. Over time, they become volunteers too. These people with pink robes, they are dental assistants. They work right next to the dentist to assist with dentists. In order to be an assistant, you need to go through several training, and you get yourself familiar with the dental instruments and procedures. Volunteer can also take the training. Another important service is the cultural and humanistic care. Volunteers use group activity and cultural interaction to bring patient and volunteer close together. And they volunteer offer love and compassion through spiritual healing. At the overseas clinic, we also have inspired local doctor, nurse, and even local volunteer to join Tzu Chi. We often hold training sessions on site, sharing Tzu Chi stories and introducing its spirits. In the United States, Tzu Chi has mobile medical service vehicles, most of which are equipped for dental care. These vehicles must be driven to the clinic sites each time. They require trained driver, and they also require maintenance and repairs. From all of this, we see the free clinics involve many different roles. Each of them seems small, but together they generate great strength. As Master say, we must learn the spirit of ant. A single ant has limited strength, but when many ants work together, they can move objects many times their size. Volunteers and free clinics embody the same role. I've been to many free clinics. I've performed different roles. Many of them are small roles, but through cooperation, we are able to complete a big project. And whenever we face obstacle or challenge, we help each other, and together we carry out the free clinic smoothly and successfully.
要记住他们的叮咛，要与时间竞争，做
With
好
perseverance,
小山，
volunteer
一
overcome
起爬到须
difficulties.
弥山。诚如上人的开示，
So
不
we
要
are
怕
the
力量
team of
小，
loving
凭的
ants.
是自己
Each
不愿
volunteer
出
is
一
a
份力
loving
量。
ant.
是的，您和我一样都可以做一个有爱的小蚂蚁，都可以发
As
挥大力
Master
量。
taught
千
us,
万不要
do
以
not
善小
fear
人
that
为
your
哦，
strength is
不要
small.
空寡，每
是
天
Fear
交
only
朋
that
友的
you're
都发挥
unwilling
大力
to
量，
give
一
even
起
a
努
little.
力，迈向须弥山吧。感恩您的聆听。
好，热烈掌声响起。
Let's
有没有
strive
觉得很
together
神奇？
toward the
就是无论
mountain,
他们在哪一个地方，
Sumeru.
那个爱的能量，而且每个月哦，并且
Isn't
两
it
个除了
amazing?
每个
Doesn't
月的
matter
事
where
情
they're
之
at.
外，他们两个还各自承担
We
导
can
播
feel their
啊，
love
无
of
论是在
power.
美加、大陆或各地方，他们都是勇于承
Once
担。
a month, they come
所
to
有的
our
实际的活动几乎都
book
有他们的
club.
菩萨足迹，然后
They're
也
not just
因
a
为师父的
presenter,
关系
they're
投
also
入的一个关系，
interpreters.
所以呢乐开怀哈。那在这边呢，我们的桃园的四国师兄就说，你们
Because
真的
they're
是
so
菩萨
into
道
the
手相平
volunteer,
平了哈。
you
所以
can
每
tell
一次
their
的一个分享都让我们
their
觉得非常
smile
非
came
常
from the
的
bottom
感
of their
动哈。
heart.
我们再次掌声感恩释经文经，谢谢你们，也期待
Let's
他们赶快
give
回
them a
到
round
台
of
湾莅临
applause.
主场哈。
Thank you
那
for
现在呢，我
coming.
们回到主场这边，噔噔噔噔，没错。
They're
就
not
是
in
我们这
Taiwan
个
right
教
now.
育家人
Hopefully,
呢，
we'll
他
get
们
to
这
see
是他
them
们
soon
自
in
己
Taiwan.
去栽种，然后照顾的。
Here
那
are
他在这
our
边跟我
long-term
讲，
care
就是
family.
他
They brought some
每天
plants
把他
over
们浇
here.
灌，然后养成这么漂亮。所以各位，他们今天不是
They
闲
water
闲
them
的待在
daily.
这
Look
里，
at how
他们
precious
今
they
天
are.
读书会结束以后，他们邀约大家到木栅区，这是他们平常就照顾的。那因为花莲光复的一个风灾，所以邀约大家来共赞，有大大小小，
After
哇，
book
摆在
club
哪里都是
today,
一份很好
you
的
know,
心意哦。那同
they
时
invite
今
you
天
to
还有
visit
我们
to
的
visit
副
this
We
手
will
plant
have
that
Victor.
they
计划
water
就会
daily
来
and
摆
take care
摊他们
daily.
的豆干，而且是一个瑜伽的老师。在我们
And
跟
they're
他互
also
动的
selling
当下，
some
我
of the
们想说他
plants
学瑜伽的
and
当
some
下，他
snacks.
发心
All
连
the
所
money
有的
goes,
材料费
all the
就让这
proceeds
一个
go
老
to
师
help
全
the
部都是捐出的。
花莲
那同时，我们的河海师兄他回来了，
victims.
所以呢，今天的外面读书会结束哦，一样有我们冬瓜柠檬跟墨绿，好像什么绿茶、墨香
One
绿
of
茶，
our
反正就
brother,
是很好的
he's
东西哈。所以
preparing
我们也
different
预
kind
祝
of
大家
tea
哈，所以这边好，那现在
you
我
get to
我要
enjoy
把
later
请大家
right
噔噔噔
outside.
噔噔噔噔噔，你看我们月上云端运动风的一个毛巾，可以各种的展示，放在袋子，它也是一种造型哈。同时，您真的可以
Here
来
are
摸摸我
our
们的
exercise
这个
towel.
质感跟我们一般想象的毛巾是不一样的，是最新科技，而且时尚设计。那在
Feel
这个
free
部
to
分，我
touch
们
it.
其
It's
实很
very
贴心，待
soft.
会我再告诉
You
你
can
我们
use
怎么
it for
贴心哈。
exercise.
那
You
接下
can
来的
use
时
it,
间呢，
even
我们
use
就
it
由
as
这
a
一群人要
headband
准备来带
or
领带着我们的
decoration.
活动
And
组
here
来
are some of the
进行
examples
我们的什么
that we're
健康
showing
毛
you.
巾操。其他人你没有的人没关系啊。啊？哦，汗蒸的时候，对，这个蛋应该假的吧？真的啊，早上煮的，就汗蒸木的时候可以，哎，这个叫做什么筋啊？羊角筋。然后这
Oh, this
所有
is
的一切
the
都是他设计的，你就是找很
Korean
我
hot
找他
spot.
回去好几个礼拜，而且他还
It's she's
你
holding
自己
an
来
egg
哎，可是
that
麦
when you
克
go
风
to
要
the
给他，
spa,
他
you
才能
can
讲
put
办法。来，你过来
put
讲
it
看
inside the
这
towel
个是怎么
to
样？麦克风赶快先讲。
steam the egg at the same time.
还是要运动，我们要优雅的出门，所以这上面是绑头发的，后面是夹头发的，折一折就变成蝴蝶结。优雅的出门之后，我们就可以去跳街
The
舞。
sports towel
街
can
舞就变成
exercise
这
towel
样，
can also
有没有？
be
跟
a
成熟
bowl,
一样。
decorating
然后再
bowl.
来，我们玩累了，我们就要去洗
It
三
can
温
also
暖
be
汗蒸
used
木。
for
我的汗蒸木，来
if
过来，
you go to hip hop dance, you
这
can
是
use
这
it
样子的发夹。
to wipe your
是
sweat.
是
毛巾
Or
呢
if you
就
go
可以
to
多
spa,
用
you can
哦。
put it on
好，
top
大
of your
家
hair.
好，我在这里也说一下
It's a
哈，运动毛
multi-use
巾一开始
exercise
其实我
towel.
跟你讲过，就是从一个摊位，然后呢，只有一个摊位，我就想说，上个礼拜除了祈祷之外，有没有办法办一个爱心市集？所以呢，我就找了财梦师兄，因为他是做礼品的。我说你那边有什么东西可以 以捐给我们。 义卖，结果他就说1个小时以后，他打电话给我说，老师，
telling the story of this exercise towel.
运动毛巾，超细纤维的这个部分。可是我们一听的时候，我就觉得很。
I asked one of the brother, is there any way that we can do some fundraise? And then we received 500 of these exercise towels. Once we received them, our team came up with all these different ideas.
然后接下来呢，我们就突然讲，它既然是一个运动毛巾，能不能出去以后它可能湿了，或者你去，尤其是女孩子洗头发，你把它用它是非常吸水的。然后它一般的毛巾久了以后，其实它会有一点味道，它这个是不能，因为它非常的快干。
Use it as a exercise towel to wipe your sweat. You can also use it when you wash your hair, like to dry your hair. And I've been using this towel for quite some time this week, and I find it's very useful. Also come with a bag that when it's wet, you can put it inside the bag. It's easy to carry and it doesn't touch other things that's in your purse. I received many compliments. People really like to use this towel. And at the same time, you can also do good to people who are in need as a fundraise. So right now I'm showing you, they are demonstrating this exercise towel sport. So I want you guys to get up and then exercise with them.
再一次，
花儿是你的好榜样，身心要坚强，磨练会使身心坚强。草儿告诉你，告诉你，草儿是你的好榜样，身体要健康，运动会使身体健康。
哇！好，吸，吐，再调整呼吸，吸，吐。好，祝福大家身体健康。太感动了，太感动了。好，是。现在回到我的简报这边，好不好？谢谢。好 ，OK， 我再让大家看一下哈，我们这一条资源花莲光复的
吸水毛巾测试，
大家可以看它的材质是超细纤维，
Look at this
所以跟一般的毛巾
short video about our towel.
可以看一下，我
It's
们
a
每
very
个人在家里
thin polyester,
然后去做这样的
super absorbent.
测试的时候，它是完全可以这样子吸水快速。那也因为这样的材质，所以它非常
Able to soak the whole cup of water because they're super thin
我们推出的这一
microfiber.
我们的毛巾的概念是不一样的哦。
Just want to let you know the difference between this towel and regular towel. It's great for your exercise.
那叫最好帮我们带出去。但是因为量的一个关系，所以请给我们时间，尤其是宅配的，我们会在10月底以前帮大家寄送到府上哈。那非常感恩。那下一次希望我们带动的时候，
Due to the big demand, we'll try to manufacture as many as possible. Hopefully by end of October, we can complete all the order.
大家一起来，各个是人才哇！它有符合两个，就是2位都是来自泰国，而梅君。
All right, next we are going to welcome our guest speakers for today from Thailand.
搜寻者是在做什么？这样带这边哦，因为我带资深副校长。
So one of the speakers is going to be Sister Guo Meijun.
资深副校长，科技启智护唱生，永续耕耘传正念，心灵和谐建大同哈。那我们家里的余会有说感恩。 带资深副校长为教育培育人才的无私奉献，永续发展的核心在于人性与教育，唯有启发良知。
And right now, we're reading through some comments that listeners have posted online, I believe from earlier sessions.
感恩戴昌贤资深副校长的精彩分享，校长用朴实的语言普及了专业的知识，非常直观的道出了全人类文明发展面对的问题，诠释了慈济人文理念对永续发展的可行性哦，所以非常的感恩，在这边第一时间回馈。那我现在呢，再回到我的简报。那于是呢
Okay, and back to the guest speakers for today.
团队也是我们搜寻者团队。
So Sister Meiyun is part of a few teams involved with the Kaohsiung study group. One of them is the guided readings, and there are other teams that she's involved with as well. Now let's take a look at this material that we've put together for Sister Meiyun and Brother Zhongxian. Now, some of this material that you see here was put together by our team in Changhua, Taiwan. Now, Sister Meiyun has actually shared as a speaker in one of our prior sessions as well. And you see some of the materials here on the right of the screen. And the subject was a midway station on the path to the heavens. So we invited her to come speak again, and she gladly agreed to come again. Let's take a look at some videos related to Sister Meiyun. So this is Sister Meiyun speaking at a free clinics event in Thailand.
协助难民和医师沟通，郭美君是翻译志工的窗口。过去在航空公司工作的她，服务过不同国家旅客，现在更无所求，服务难民。
So the video describes how Sister Meiyun is the point of contact for translation volunteers at a lot of these free clinic events in Thailand, these large-scale free clinic events, and that she actually previously worked in the airline industry. So we'll share these videos out for you to watch if you'd like to watch more closely. Let's take a look at how Tzu Chi helped a lot of refugees even during the pandemic. So everything you see here are footprints that have been left behind of the love that Tzu Chi has shown. They see a lot of the things that are being prepared here are to deliver to refugee families who are in need. Now, during the pandemic, let's also take a look at what Brother Zhongxian, some of the work that he did to help others. Now, Brother Zhongxian is detailing how they've helped to send a lot of people to hospitals for medical treatment, and for others who've not had the opportunity to go to the hospital, they've sent them, or they've welcomed them to join the free clinics. And let's look even further back in time to 2016. So even then, they were also doing a lot of free clinics in Thailand. He's describing how sometimes in these free clinic events, they may find that the logistics and the workflows don't quite work as expected, and then the volunteers have to come together to figure out how to resolve that. And beyond that, something that's very, very important is learning how to speak and communicate with not only other volunteers, but also the folks who you're helping. And that the words that we speak have a big impact on others, and we need to be very considerate of that. So let's come back to our live studio and welcome our speakers to speak. So aren't we all very happy to welcome our speakers from Thailand? So one of the other teams that Sister Meiyun is part of is a team that helps to put together a lot of these videos and other contents and materials about speakers and for these different sessions. So you can see some of our videos went back as far as 2016, almost 10 years ago. And so you can see that Tzu Chi volunteers are always, always active. So Brother Zhongxian has actually also come shared in the past as well. So on my right here, okay, so on my right here is Sister Jin Su, who, if I caught correctly, was the one who introduced Sister Meiyun, I'm assuming, to the study group teams. And so we see how different affinities come together. So we're grateful for the whole team here. And we know that our speakers are gonna have a very, very exciting sharing for us. So let's welcome them to speak. Good morning to everyone. I'd like to quickly share a little bit about the free clinics that Tzu Chi has conducted in Thailand. So there was actually a lot of very unique affinities that allowed us to do these free clinics. So when we first started, we actually weren't working with the United Nations. It was in 2014 when we began, and we were invited by officials at, I'm not sure which entity in the US, to ask if we would be willing to do, Tzu Chi would be willing to do free clinics in Thailand. Now, at the time, our office in Thailand was actually quite small. We didn't have a lot of people, but we had begun to set up an office. And at the time, we thought that, there were some 50,000 refugees that we would need to take on if we were to accept this. And so we at first hesitated and thought whether we would be able to do this. But we did share this with Dharma Master Zheng Yin. And when Dharma Master Zheng Yin heard this, she immediately asked one of the senior volunteers in Tzu Chi to come to Thailand and help support us so that we could, in fact, hold these free clinics. Now, we were setting up a new office, and we had to use that new office's facilities because the old office was much smaller. The new office was much larger. So the guidance from Dharma Master Zheng Yin at the time, okay, so at the time we were in the middle of building the Jingsi Hall for this new office. And it was even as it was during the process of building that Jingsi Hall that we were holding these free clinics. We didn't wait for the Jingsi Hall to finish construction. Let's take a look at this video here.
What I saw there was also now a dental clinic. It's so beautiful. It's even nicer than the dentist where I go. Now also a dental clinic. There are 2 rooms with dentists, and it's a beautiful room, much better than my dentist has, because dental care is quite expensive for our clients. So I'm very happy with that. Thank you very much.
义诊也为难民提供家乡美食， 以解思乡之苦。
Lunch is great, and the organization of the lunch is very impressive. You've got varieties, and you've got spicy food, different non-spicy food, the Pakistani, and they are properly organized for the patients here and their families also.
2017年增加难民意外住院以及二胎孕妇医疗补助。2018年增加义诊转诊、医院检查服务。
But you see that there's a progress, and you see that the refugees are treated with respect. That's the first of all, the well important thing, and that you also care about the long-term treatment. So it's not like only ad hoc, just today. But you can see, first of all, they have a referral system trying to do something for the future.
My work is to bring the patient to the hospital. I make the patient relax and comfortable with me. At lunchtime, this is also my job to bring food for them and whatever they want. I try my level best to do the best for my patients, and I am so happy with my job here because I love serving.
在第2个星期日增加7次小义诊，改善难民就诊动线，将卫教翻译成各国语言，补助白内障开刀费用，跟泰国传统医疗协会合作，提供泰国传统古式经络按摩，以及展开了泰式按摩教学班。除了增加服务项目，我们也有新志工加入。在知道慈济后，医生巴蒂一家人也协助慈济义诊，在每次义诊时提供服务，也另外增加第1个及第3个星期3的义诊，而且也参加辽国义诊。
我们来自泰国，其实我们在泰国也有开了个赞医堂，有给人家免费治病了10年多。今天我们就第1次来辽国做义诊，然后我们就负责中医部那边的，然后中医部那边的人呢，患者都是那种腰痛啊、肩痛啊、脚痛比较多，因为他们可能是农民比较多，所以这边疼痛很多。然后我这1次来就有收获很多东西。
那以上就是我们刚刚有介绍，大概义诊从2015年开始慢慢的演进。那其实
So earlier we talked about how free clinics began in 2015 and began to expand further from there. And every year we would go back to Taiwan to share with Dharma Master Zhongxian share with her about our progress. And as we conducted these free clinics, we found that in some cases, patients with more serious conditions would need to send to the hospital. So beginning in 2016, we began to have volunteers help with things like dental services and things like surgery for cataracts and providing other forms of support for a lot of these refugees. Eventually, we began to conduct charity case management for a lot of refugees. As we progressed along this path, Dharma Master Zhongxian said, as we begin to relieve the suffering of a lot of these refugees, we also want to help them understand the spirit of helping others that we are trying to uphold and share in Tzu Chi. And then so at that point, we began to invite volunteers and specifically these refugees themselves to come be translation volunteers. And there were at least 8 major languages that we had volunteers for, but there were also languages beyond that that were tougher to find volunteers for, but at least for all of the major languages, and even for some of the other ones, we were able to gather volunteers to support. We even began to translate subtitles for a lot of Dai dramas into actually 7 different languages. And then so, for example, as refugees were waiting at these free clinics to receive services, we would play these Dai dramas on screen for them to enjoy in 7 different languages. There were other charitable groups who also came and worked together with us to help the refugees. So every step of the way. Okay. So beginning in 2020 with the pandemic, of course, the free clinics were largely impacted because anything that was in person involved sort of direct physical contact for medical services, we had to restrict. And so the best we could do was refer people to hospitals as needed. So this created many challenges for us. Let's take a look at this video here. This is our translation. Our translation teams, and you can see all of the different languages being listed out that we worked on translations for. As we're doing these translations, our goal is to share the spirit of great love with all the folks who Tzu Chi are trying to help, or Tzu Chi is trying to help. And so we hope, for example, that when we're able to do something like translate Dai dramas into many different languages, then more people from all over the world can have the opportunity to watch these dramas and better understand the spirit and essence of Tzu Chi. So some of the refugees that we supported had the opportunity actually through the support of perhaps international and national entities to immigrate to a third country, for example, Australia sometimes. So this, for example, is a photo of refugees who we had first supported in Bangkok and then who then moved to Australia. And then these are some of the refugees that we supported who then moved to New Zealand. So you can see our volunteers in New Zealand connecting with these refugee families as well. So in one of these photos, there is a refugee who I remember was so hardworking, and he had actually gone to Switzerland. And after he had made it to Switzerland, he needed actually to spend 5 years in the country before he was able to leave the country. I believe it was last year or the year before that he sent me a message on the Line app to say that, hey, he actually wants to join the Tzu Chi certified volunteer training in Europe. And so it's just, I was so touched to see that, and we can see how the roots of love that we spread are taking root all over the world. In 2019, we had the opportunity to connect with, I believe, the UN refugee team. And then in 2020, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the UN for refugee-related services. So whether it's charity, whether it's medicine, whether it's education, these are things that we would partner together with the UN to now conduct and provide services for the refugees. So thank you so much. Okay. So thank you so much to Brother Zhongxian for his sharing. So Brother Zhongxian led a lot of the administrative efforts for a lot of these free clinics. And I had the opportunity to serve as a bridge with a lot of our translation volunteers who were refugees themselves. So from 2015 to 2020, our refugee translation team grew from about 30 members in, I believe, 2015 to some 100 or so volunteers over those 6 years. And I could pretty much remember every single one of those volunteers' names. Now, at the time, I was also working in parallel. And so I was only able to support once a month for these large-scale free clinics. And since I still had a separate, like a full-time job, it was often after I got off of my job that I would spend a lot of time working on everything I needed to do for the free clinics. Now, today I actually want to share the stories of 2 volunteers who really touched me. One of these refugees is from Iran. His name is Abdullah. He graduated from university in Iran, and after he arrived in Bangkok, he actually had been an English teacher and had also been a tour guide in Phuket. Now, in January of 2019, he joined our team. I remember one night, pretty soon after he had joined the team, he called me in the afternoon, maybe 6 or 7 p.m. And when he called, he kind of very faint voice, he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Ophelia. Can I borrow 100 Thai baht from you? Today, I came to the city, Ayutthaya. I came to work, but then after a day's work, my employer actually didn't give me that day's pay, and I don't have the money to ride the bus back to Bangkok. Can I borrow 100 Thai baht from you?" Which I believe that equates to maybe $2 US. And so when I heard that, that made me very sad, because even 100 Thai baht he didn't have. And so I said, "Of course, that's no problem." And I also asked him, "Have you eaten?" And he said, "No, I haven't." So he gave me his bank information, and I sent him actually 1,000 Thai baht, because from that day until when we were going to next to our large-scale free clinics, there was still maybe more than a week. So after I sent him that money, he actually called me and said, "Hey, I actually asked you for 100 baht, but I think you sent me more than that." And I told him, "Yes, I know. I sent you the 1,000 because I think you'll be able to use it. Please go home and rest and be sure to eat." And so he said, "At the end of the month, when I get my pay from the free clinic, I will return that to you." And I said, "No, that's okay. We'll see at the time. But first, take care of yourself." Because I noticed in all the free clinics in the future that he always was such a hardworking and diligent individual. And in April of 2019, that year, we began to translate Dai dramas. And so we needed to get more details about the volunteers working on these translations. And so that's when I found out more about Abdullah's living circumstances. And so I asked him a little bit about this and said, hey, do you have a mattress? Do you have a pillow? Do you have blankets? And as I learned more about his living conditions, it again felt very sorry and very sad. And so I prepared a secondhand suitcase luggage and prepared some secondhand items of clothes and of bedding to give to him. And the next time he saw me, he actually brought this suitcase back to me. And I was very surprised because usually when you give something to someone, they just very happily accept it. But what he told me was, thank you so much, Ophelia. I took some of the things I needed. And I really liked the pillow you gave me. And I think I have everything I need now. And for everything else, I think you can maybe pass it to someone else who also needs this. And so at that time, I thought this person is so, so special because even as he himself has so little and is in so much need, he was not at all greedy for these material goods and wanted to help others as well. And then as we were doing these translations for these diadramas, we could see how hardworking he was. He worked practically day and night. He was the one who translated the most episodes. He actually translated 146 episodes of these dramas. And every time at the end of the month when he would come and receive the pay for his translation work, on the spot, he would donate some of his pay back to Tzu Chi. And so a lot of our accounting staff were so touched by this. So let's actually take a look at a video of Abdullah. So the video is saying that many times as you're watching Tzu Chi videos now, especially Dai dramas, you'll see the option for Persian as one of the translated languages. And that's in many cases because of Abdullah. So this job gave him the opportunity to get a little bit of pay and also to get to know Tzu Chi as well. And let's hear him speak here. He felt that he received love and he also wanted to give up love. So we can see this cycle of love, Tzu Chi. And then you can see here, he's also even helping to clean. So you can see here that this Persian translation is by him. On YouTube, we see this drama that's called Swallow, swallow meaning the bird. So you actually see Persian from Iran and then Persian from Afghanistan. And they're similar in many ways, but there are some differences. So in June of that year, he actually decided that he would return to Iran. And so whenever we have volunteers or other folks who have worked at Tzu Chi go back to different countries, we would send them off. Now, in 2021, January, I actually received a message from him from Facebook. And I was very surprised because social media is not commonly used in Iran. And at that time, he reached out to me and he actually told me this, when I left Thailand, you had given me this book of Jingsi aphorisms in English as a gift. I've actually translated that entire book into Persian. And I've even completed all of the editing and layout for this in a digital version. So if we can find someone to proofread it, we can actually publish it. Now take a look. This right here, from the text and the content of the translations to all of this layout that you see, the editing, this was all done by Abdullah. When I saw this, I was so moved, so emotional, so grateful. On the left, we see the story of Tzu Chi, and then on the right, that's translated into Persian. And then every single page, we see these translations into Persian. Not only did he translate it, he digitally laid everything out in a format that is already ready to publish. I was touched beyond words. And today, I'd really like to use this opportunity at the Kaohsiung Book Study Group and these affinities that we have here to ask listeners around the world that if you know anyone who knows Persian and can help to proofread this work, then we would like to invite that individual to come help proofread this so that we have the opportunity to publish this work that Abdullah worked so hard on and allow for these Jingsi aphorisms to be shared with yet another language in the world. Now, I'd like to share the story of a second refugee family. This is the story of Babu and Anila. They are from Pakistan, and both of them were professional nurses in Pakistan. Now, they joined, or Babu joined our team in October of 2017. Now, about a year after he joined the team, he was suddenly detained by the immigration authorities. So when I heard these news, I immediately reached out to Anila, his wife, and asked if she would be willing to come join the translation team, because I knew that they did not have a lot of other income, and this was an opportunity for them to sustain some income while Babu was detained. And at the same time, I also contacted the Tzu Chi's charity home visit team and began to take their family in as a single parent family case. And we would visit their family together. So actually, I invited my daughter also to come help translate as we spoke to Anila. Now, Anila and Babu's story is that Anila grew up in a traditional Muslim household, whereas Babu grew up in a Christian household. So because of this, so they had actually met at the hospital they worked at and fell in love, but then their families opposed their relationship because of the difference in their religion. And so the two of them decided they wanted to be together and decided to go to a different part of the country together to work. But unfortunately, their families had found out where they were and then sent the police after them. And in that process, Babu was beaten, and Anila, who was pregnant at the time, suffered a miscarriage through that process as well. And my daughter, who was helping to translate all of this, I could see just how much this story shocked her. And of course, all of us as well. So fortunately, after about a year, Babu was able to be released on bail from the immigration authorities. And I invited him to join the team again. We were very happy to hear soon after they were pregnant with their second child. And so we supported them in a couple of different ways as much as we could, whether it was maternity clothes, strollers, baby clothes, supported by Sister Liang Fen's daughter-in-law and also financial support from Tzu Chi. Now, it was a very happy story for this family that in 2021, they had the opportunity actually to move to Sydney, Australia. And thank you to Sister Yao in Sydney, thank you to Sister Yao who contacted Brother Randy and Sister Diana in Sydney to help pass the baton to Tzu Chi volunteers in another country to continue supporting their family. And we saw that actually, Anila sent me a photo later, and when they actually had joined the year-end blessing ceremony of Tzu Chi in 2023, and then they later updated us that their children were settled in school, and then Anila and Babu had undergone job training and began working at an elderly care facility in Sydney, and then their lives were starting to become stable. And they also said that they wanted to now give back more, that they were becoming more stable. This is a photo here of our translation volunteers. And thank you so much to Dharma Master Zhongyan. Thank you so much to Tzu Chi for giving me the opportunity to live out these stories and live out these affinities. in all of this time, this was an exchange of love and an exchange of Dharma. So this is my sharing today. Thank you so much. Oh, did we finish early? I actually have some things to prepare. Do you want to speak a little bit more in the meanwhile? They were so on time. And Brother Zhongxian, oh, I see that your speaking abilities have improved so much. He was a much more shy speaker previously, but today, you could see how he spoke with such confidence. And so we see that with practice, we become more and more able. And more importantly, both Brother Zhongxian and Sister Meiyun, they speak from their deep experiences. And so many of these stories are ones that we would not have known, but because of them and their experiences, we have the opportunity to learn the stories, and I admire that so much. So really, I was so touched by their sharing today. Oh, Sister Jinsu usually would provide a lot of written feedback online, even when she's here live. But then we see that today she didn't seem to share much. And so Sister Jinsu said, oh, that's because I was so speechless from their sharing today. And so we hear now some of the comments that were written online. Sharing about how through these free clinics, not only did we relieve suffering, but we're also sharing the spirit of love. Another comment says, through your eyes and through your heart, we see the pearls and the gems of love that come out through helping those in need. So earlier, I was talking with some of the staff about these microfiber towels again. And our earlier speaker, I believe, vice principal of Tzu University, had also bought a number of these towels. So thank you so much to him. I want to remind everyone that these are very special towels. They are microfiber, not your normal fibers. And so let's all come together, and if you would like, also try these towels for yourselves as well, and support the causes of Tzu Chi in the process. I'm sure there are more comments that will continue to come in. you can actually see that today what we're wearing here are all the Dai technology apparel. And you see this skirt that I'm wearing, or dress that I'm wearing today. It looks, it's the first time you've seen it, right? You know why? Because it's new. And I know that through supporting Dai technology, we are helping the causes of Tzu Chi. And so I welcome you to join me in trying out the Dai technology products.
科技，总之啊，邀约大家一起共赏，不要忘了哦，大社的豆干。哦，他们的豆干我吃过，真的好吃。上一次我没有买到，这一次我已经赶快给他揪去。还有长照帮阿公阿嬷做的那一些小盆栽，有大有小嘛，给他们力量，好不好？所以呢，等读书会结束的时候，就是我们共善开始的时间。今天有拿到月上云端毛巾，你觉得满意的，一定要回去，然后把我们的连结给更多人知道。
And actually, these microfiber towels were created specifically for our study group. But anyways, there's a number of different items that you can look at after the live session today. So feel free to take a look and support Tzu Chi and Tzu Chi's causes through some of these wonderful items. Okay, so thank you so much to our speakers today. So thank you to this session from our volunteers in Thailand and from all of our speakers from earlier today as well.
By end of October,
Yeah, there are a few new items. Okay, this is our religious institute. And next, we will have some good program for next time. Brother Qiu Liang and his son will be joining us. And in US, Xiuling, Sister Xiuling, will come to Kaohsiung. And then, and teacher Luo Hengyuan actually create a song, another new song for us to promote vegetarianism. Step forward, then you will meet a good condition. Okay, bye. Have a good day.
那你的镜头可能是直的，
越横的，
它声音
声音可以打开。
音量是关的吧
Regan 师兄，抱歉，我完全没注意到，我以为还是我的那一段。我不好意思，我是个好心也是坏心，我好心是说让那个。
你还是关了。